story that I heard yesterday. Yeah, it goes the headlines, man. They all just go to plan. They're framed and fixed and rigged. You know they're all just spam. So buckle down, plug right in, and cross its way under your skin. Just got foul from the things they spout, and it won't make you shout. Give me that good news, because I'm tired of the same old shit. That good news, because I'm tired of the same old shit.
Good morning, huh? Was that? Yeah, look at that new intro, right?
I wasn't
loved
sure
it.
what we were going through there for a
That
second.
is great. New intro. You got the tired of the same old shit. Guys there reading the paper, drinking his
And his
coffee.
hazmat.
And his hazmat because it's
Boy, is that-
garbage.
is
Like that,
fitting?
didn't you? Huh?
Yeah.
Look at the producers earning their money.
Yeah, you
They
must
don't
have been
get
really working hard this week on
They
that. I
don't.
love it. I love it.
Yeah, that's
Anyway,
what people paid on.
anyway,
And you notice he had his mask on so he couldn't smell himself.
that's right. The grounds, of course. You got Uncle Pete there. God rest his soul. But put that right into your Earl. Join the show, the most unique show that 216 The Net has, where you, the listener, can be part of this wonderful show.
Come on
right
in.
on screen with us.
Get live.
Yeah, get live. Absolutely.
That was
and
part
of course,
CNC Music Factory too, right? No, that wasn't. Go Get Live with the Honeys. What was that one?
I don't know. Oh, that was. Oh, yeah. I don't. I think that's Hello Cool J. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway,
We don't know.
Anyway, brought to you through the financial support this week of
Community home inspections, where we care about your house like you do. We go in there, give you a full checkup, make sure you know what you're getting when you're buying, or we do maintenance inspections. If you want to go in, you've been in your house for a long time, not sure what's going on with it, if you need some things done or just want some recommendations on how to keep up the biggest investment you got in your life, give us a call. 847-401-9501. Community home inspections.
There you go.
So good morning, guys.
Hey, good
Friday,
morning.
Friday. We all made
It's a
it.
great Friday.
We didn't melt.
We did
right?
not melt.
With the heat wave.
Yeah, we all survived.
We
It's
all
great.
survived. I actually enjoy it.
I think what I wanted to cover was advice from strangers today.
Like, don't go play in the street.
Advice from strangers. So, do you all look at who's here? Morning,
Morning.
joining
Great
you for
fine
about
Texas.
20 minutes.
Don, what's up, buddy?
Oh, he's in conference in Denver. Nice. Enjoy that.
Yeah, don't think I didn't like something when I just disappeared. He says, I love it. So advice from strangers, right? So you are. What is your take on advice from strangers? Do you take it? Do you not take it? Do you go, what is it?
Take it, listen to it. I'll listen to anything. but
Depends on the advice.
depends on the person,
Like,
depends on the advice.
like here, I have Katie get in my car. It's
Well, that's not advice.
no, that's a lure. That's
Am I the only one? Am I the only one?
Now the advice would be like, kid, if someone ever pulls up to you and offers you candy, you should get it.
Right.
That's advice.
That would be advice.
Mm.
Yeah.
Would that be good
We
advice?
are not. We
or
are
bad
not.
advice.
We are not recommending that.
Depends on the guy that's
Yeah, I
giving
don't-
you the advice, right?
So Don says, listen and evaluate. How much over your lifetime? I mean, have you guys gone, huh? I don't know you at all, but that's great advice. I'm going to put that into my life.
Once again, man, it's going to have to depend on what the subject is. I don't know. There's a lot of factors that go into that. For me.
What about you? I mean, you're a business owner. You get a lot of advice on how to run, and you too, right?
It's solicited and
there's a lo-
unsolicited. So I mean,
right.
there's two different types. I mean, and like Drew says, I mean, when it comes to advice, I mean, there's so many different criteria that you have to evaluate when it comes from somebody as to
What is that criteria then?
Well, I don't know if it's criteria, more or less for me personally.
Yeah.
I'll take any kind of data from anybody, but then I'll sit down and I'll sort it out and I'll make the best decision for myself based off of somebody's advice.
yeah, you always have to evaluate what's coming at you. I mean, if you don't, I'm just going to take your advice and go with, okay, well, I believe you. It's like, you telling me something and me not even thinking twice about it and just doing it. Even though you're a really good friend, I'm still going to think about it and evaluate if it works better for my situation.
And who in the stranger, is it the guy you just met on the bus? Is it, just somebody you just don't know? And how did the conversation start?
That's what I'm saying. Advice from strangers. not stranger, like I'm stranger than most. But
You are stranger than most, but we love you. no
Don
matter
says
what.
there's a good chance, not always, a good chance there is no agenda behind the advice since they don't know you. Okay. So it's worth a listen, he says.
It's always worth a listen because you
everything's
never
worth a
know what
listen.
kind of nugget's going to come out of it. I
Good
mean, it
morning,
could be some of the
Jessica.
best advice in the world, something profound that you've never thought about. And other times it could be just complete bullshit.
Can you
but you're
think-
wasting your time?
Can you think of a time where a stranger, someone you don't know, don't have a relationship with,
Mhm.
gave you advice and you go, I'm acting on that?
Yeah, probably quite a few times in my life. I mean, you've watched, I'm going to put up just for instance, a podcast. I'm watching a podcast
Yeah.
and those people could be strangers. Hey, this is something that I do every day. This is a system that works for me. I might put that into play into my life at one point to see how it works for me. I mean, I can't think of anything super specific, but I mean,
Well,
there are,
I'm gonna
I
go
do
with-
listen. I'm going
to go with Don on this one. Feedback is a gift, no matter what, man. So advice, any kind of data, I will take in. But I don't think I've ever somebody's given me advice where instantly I was like, I'm totally doing that right now.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm okay with that, and I'm glad that you brought up the social media aspect because that's kind of where I was going with this. It is amazing to me that if I'm in a coffee shop and a stranger walks up to me and gives me their opinion or advice on something, where I go, ooh,
Mm.
the fuck out of here.
Right.
However, if 1,000, 10,000, 7,000, 22,000 thumbs up on a stream on which I don't know this person, don't know if they're a felon, I don't know anything about this person, and I start going, that's gospel because it's on.
because
Look at this guy.
Well, so many other
Viral.
people, so many other people have looked at it.
Viral. Look at how many people
Yeah.
love this. So my question is,
Crazy.
do
aggregates
you
crazy.
think so many people, like I stand with, you don't,
Right.
right? So I had a conversation with a good friend who sent me a link, and then I just said, hey, he goes, did you watch this? And I go, well, how long have you been following? And I used the guy's name of the clip that sent.
Okay.
And what do you know about this guy? Crickets.
He's got 50,000 followers.
So
that means he's
You see what I'm
legit.
saying? So we have come to a point in society where we throw our common sense and ability to cognitively think out the window because there's a thumbs up on somebody.
Yeah.
You understand?
A lot of
I
followers.
mean, if you were sitting, if this kook was to be at a table behind you at a coffee shop, and we're at this table like we are right now, and we hear this conversation, do you go, you know what? Let me come over and enjoy this conversation. Chances are, no, you go, this fucking guy's nuts back here.
Well, that depends again though on that one. I mean, you don't know. I mean, you can be sitting sometimes someplace and you hear some people talking, you're going, oh wow, that's kind of interesting. I mean, I'm not an eavesdropper, but if I
Okay, but then what do you do? If you're eavesdropping, go, well, that's kind of interesting. What do you do?
I mean, for me to turn around and be like, hey, what's up? I probably wouldn't do that because then it's in my mind, it's kind of rude.
Uh-huh.
But
What do you do with the advice? Or you know what I'm saying? What do
Right.
you do with that conversation that you?
Well, if it perked
overheard?
my ears, it's something I'm going to have to investigate into a little bit deeper, right? And ask some people that I know. I don't see myself generally turning to that person and being, hey, sorry, I heard you talking. But
Right.
unless it's something that just so profound that I've never really heard before, I might be like, hey, but as far as what you're talking, social media, I don't listen to somebody or anything because they got a shitload of followers. They call them followers for a reason, right? They're looking for somebody to drag them along and give them ideas,
Right.
And who knows really how they are? You don't know what their life is, right? They could, just like you said, the guy could be a complete kook, but he had one really good thought, one really good idea.
Yeah.
And so everyone goes, oh, this guy's amazing. I need to start following him because my life will change. And like, well, no, hold on. Wait a minute. Think
What's
about
up,
this
man?
for a second. Just because 50,000 other people think he's great, they might be just as dumb as the other ones.
Yeah. Hey,
And how do you weed through that?
Good morning, Nate. Nate says,
Because there's more.
I keep listening.
Advice is like opinions, right? Everyone's got one. opinions, and everyone's going to give you advice on what you should do.
Yeah,
I don't jive with
there's
that.
a lot of that, right?
Yeah.
But I in the social media realm of things, I take that post because I'm like, man, this guy makes a lot of sense on this 30-second clip.
You're right.
And I go, blast, I'm sharing this.
Yeah.
This is great. I don't know if that guy's a pedophile. I don't know if that guy rapes monkeys. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I'm taking this guy or gal and going,
if the advice works for
Oh,
you,
he's just
but
raping monkeys.
right,
He's
but if
got to
the-
be okay.
Yeah.
so let me ask you this: with the comment you made, if the advice works for you, does it really matter what that person is in life?
sure.
No, but if he's giving you advice on how to do something, let's say for the station that betters the station, does it really matter that the guy's a perv?
Yeah.
Why? That advice helps you. You don't have to like him or be him or hang out with him. You're taking his knowledge and putting it in your life.
No. Let's back up, because if I overhear and I don't go, hey, Jerry Smith told me to do this for the radio, everybody give me a thumbs up because Jerry Smith, right? But what I do on social media is go, Jerry Smith said, love your neighbor, right? And now I'm associated with Jerry Smith.
Because you're sharing.
If it's one-on-one or I overhear it, they don't know who Jerry Smith is, nor do they know that I
Well, that's
took the advice
because
from it.
people who know you on social media, if you're sharing it and they know
trust you.
they trust you.
Right.
So they're like, oh, and then that's how
But they
that
don't know
spreads.
who you're sharing and if they trust them. But
I have
for me,
so there's categories on how I work things. You know, once again, to me, everything is just data. Once I can sort it out, that I can categorize it and revisit later. Or
What's up, brother? That's it. Welcome in. Glad to have you.
Good
out there on our
hey,
Twitch.
Shayna, I haven't heard from
That's
you. Why
it.
we got Nate in? Good morning, guys.
Yeah. So
Somebody must have given them advice to listen to these. A
is
lot
that-
of on Friday.
Don
does
says
that
go ahead. I was in.
No, it's okay. I didn't say somebody must have given everyone advice. They had to tune in on Fridays and listen to us.
That's right.
Where'd
That's
that
right.
come from?
That's right.
What guru sent you our way?
A lot
You
of
love
people, a lot of people who have given horrible advice have had lots of followers. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
And look at David
yeah.
Koresh.
I
He
don't.
had great advice. Follow me. Kill yourself.
I don't know.
That was a follower.
I don't understand. Social media is all encompassing invite to have an opinion. What am I missing? Yeah, we're just talking about advice from strangers, taking advice from strangers, and that a lot of times you don't. And I don't know somebody who posts something, but because they have 57,000 views or followers or whatever, I go, oh,
I don't work.
Must be truthful, right?
I don't work that passionately with people that give me advice, regardless if I know them or not.
Yep.
It's about how I utilize the information.
Well, but you'll take
That's
the
all.
advice
Morning,
and you'll be able to sift through it.
Well, it's already told to me, so I have no choice.
Yeah.
I have it.
Right. But what Kent is saying is, if you get it from a person you know, more listen to it.
Sure.
But
If
a lot
Kent-
of people
if
are
Kent came to me and gave
jumping
me-
on.
If Kent came to me and gave me advice on something that he witnessed or saw or knew I was going through, I would probably take that a little bit closer to heart because we know each other. We're like family.
Yeah.
Right? If Kent sent me that, this is how it works with the people that I know in my network. If Kent sent me something in social media and I listened to the advice of whatever it is that he sent me and was like, what a fucking goofball. Like, who is this guy? Kent's follow-up on that, sending it to me, would be like, check this fucking guy out. It wouldn't be
Right.
like, take this seriously, because he knows how I work. I take everything, I lay it out. Okay, that's great information. I don't knee jerk about it. I'm like, hey man, I appreciate the advice. Thanks a lot. I'll take that information and I'll sort it out. Be like, that's kind of a good idea with that. Let's combine this with it. I make my own.
Yeah, but you're
opinion.
different than most, right? Because people will put up shit without investigating or knowing who it is and go, I love this guy or gal, right?
A lot of people are looking to be led by others.
Listen,
Sure.
good to see Chow Mein in. But listen, you don't have to yell at us quite so early in the morning. And to answer that, won't go broke. They won't be happy until we're all gay. Is listen, go to Ron White and watch his stand up routine about gay, and I think we all are a little bit.
Yeah. Ron,
Right?
that guy's hilarious.
That's right.
Don't
Nate
try
says,
anything 3 times.
Kent, someone I trust. Yeah. Kent says, I trust someone. He's a guy that I would trust as leader. Is it Roman or or Ramona? Whatever. Pulling up. Bless you for joining us. They're trying to indoctrinate us. The LGBT media. They've been doing it for years and years and years and years and years, right? It's just the way it is. And that's, join bridging civil tension, and you can talk about that too.
Look at Shayna. What Shayna says, she says, I collect perspectives from all types. The most revealing character traits are exposed by the advice they give. Bad advice gives clues to other issues someone might be making. Very good.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Right. And we encourage, listen, we love everybody here, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, all shapes, sizes, genders, whatever, both man and woman, and whatever it takes, right? Well,
that's why we do what we do.
Yeah, that's why we do what we do, right?
We're here to help everybody and anybody. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are. We
We
love
like-
your opinions. We're looking for.
We like to have
we're
fun
looking
and
from advice
tease.
from different.
We like to have fun and tease, but
Yeah, right.
all at the end of the day, we're an open book, man.
Yeah.
Well, and
No haters.
getting information from all different walks of life is how you can actually understand how good you have your life and to design your life the way you right. I mean, it can make you appreciate things and getting different ideas from different folks. I look at things like I tell you guys all the time. I love being on the show because I get corrected or at least have to rethink things because my perspective might have been a little bit skewed on something or mine's right and everyone else is crazy, right? I mean, that's the way.
Well, it's an education.
It's an education, right? Well, but it's just we learn every day. There's no such thing as everyone knowing everything and being super smart. I learn from people in all different walks of life, and
Sure.
I encourage that. And I
agree with that,
love,
Tal.
yeah, I love getting advice from people. I just don't like the ones that people come up and go, you know what you should do. It's like, well, that's
Hey,
that's a way to turn.
Can
people
somebody
off.
fact check this?
Fact check what?
George Lucas just died at age 79.
Mm,
That could be breaking news. We're rolling it right
we're
here.
going right over.
I'm
the
gonna
top.
put that right next door to the alien.
Yeah, no, with the
Well, my
US,
advice to you is
the U.S.
if aliens
government,
are
the U.S.
coming
government
around-
now said there are aliens.
I know.
And nobody paid attention
Well,
because there's a country song out there.
It got the Fox News.
It got the Fox News.
Right.
So now it's
Right.
real.
I agree. I like this. Nate says, best advice I got: eat a special brownie and you'll feel better.
Nate,
Well, that
I'm
is
liking the way
go.
you think more and more, my friend.
that is definitely some good advice. But
Yeah.
if you've never done it before and they don't know what's in the brownie, that's not good advice.
Ted Legal, good morning, my friend, says these days anyone who has emotions towards the same sex is considered gay. If you say you love someone in public that's the same sex, even if in reality they are your brother, people see you as gay. We all of a sudden went from
How are we going
advice
from
from
advice to being
strangers
gay?
to sexual orientation now. That's the grounds, baby.
It's
that-
anything and everything, but
hey,
holy cow!
Yeah, we took that trip.
Give me that good news.
And you know
That
what?
good news is that you like
George
men.
Lucas, absolutely one of my favorites because Star Wars is one of my
Oh my
all-time
god!
favorites.
I
All-time
remember when that
favorites,
first
right?
came out. Holy cow!
Never prioritize advice from someone with no skin. And yeah, so true, right?
Yeah, if people don't, it's hard if you don't know what they're talking about, or if
Yeah.
it's just, well, that's the thing. I'm just saying, it's the one is, hey, you should do. It's like, they're telling you how to do something, let's say in accounting, and they're, they
Hey,
run a move.
You want to put R2D2 on the table here for George Lucas?
George Lucas, did he say?
We can do that.
True.
He's looking at porn now.
No, I'm fact checking.
In fact,
Yeah, I thought he was looking at porn. I just looking at
Thursday,
Ron
July
White.
27th, director officially
Thursday.
confirmed that George Lucas is not dead. He joins a long list of celebrities that were in hoaxed.
all right, so he's still alive.
According to the thing I just read, he's not dead.
Okay.
All right, rest in not peace then.
You guys were asking me a question. I'm sorry.
No, we were
No.
going to ask you to get down R2D2, but if you didn't,
Yeah,
die,
don't
we're
do
not
that
putting
now.
it down.
Yeah, no. According to this, he's not.
That was bad advice to put down R2D2 until we knew what really
Yeah,
happened.
just a few minutes ago.
Don't take advice from us.
It's not in the news yet. Just a few minutes ago.
Oh,
That's right.
oh, you must know him.
But here's what I'm saying. A lot of times is you don't hitch your wagon to a train that you don't know where it's going, right? Or you don't know anything about. You're not jumping on the long black train. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just not, and you're like, oh, wait a minute. right? But we are so passionate as a society now, right? All around the world, that if it has, thumbs up and I'm in the heat of the moment, like, hey, on social media, you ever get the things pop up and go, hey, this was 9 years ago. In 9 years, and that memory comes up, some of you may go, oh shit,
Did I really do that?
did I jump on that person's bandwagon?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Right.
And I knew nothing about, right? So I take a look at where, and I was taught, where does the advice come from, right? And who's it coming from?
Well, the source is the
and
most
why
important.
it's coming from. And if I don't know the person, it's not going to weigh heavy, right? Right. If I know the person, I may go, oh, okay, but I've read books from felons.
Well,
Right?
I mean, listen, the advice that you get, I'll give you an example. If you're divorced, don't give me marriage advice.
Why?
Yeah.
He might be divorced for a good
You
reason
know,
because he
well-
figured something out.
Well, maybe, but maybe I'm still together
That's where
because
you
I've
have to
already
s-
had that.
Right,
I
but
already
that's
know
where-
that.
That's where you have to sort through what
You
the
know, if you
advice
go
is.
through 2
Yeah.
to 3 marriages and you want to give me marriage advice, I've been
That's
with my wife for
different.
27 years. It's the same. So it's I would rather you not give me advice. But if you are a financial advisor and you've been a success for what you do for your customers, yeah, give me advice. I mean, listen, it's all just information. And if you take the emotion out of it, I don't care. It's not my business how you feel about me.
Right. Yeah.
Period. It's none of my
your
concern, right?
Yeah.
So in order, this is how I gain, this is how I teach my people to level up in the companies that I deal with to level up, is if you were to just take everything as information, regardless if you think it's a crackpot information or not, sooner or later you might turn back to that and be like, yeah, that's crazy for that, but that advice works here. And you just replace it to where it actually makes sense because the information is there. Once you hear it, see it, it's here. It just, you file it in your cabinet in your head, right? And then you're able to utilize it
Well, and
as necessary.
right. Well, and it, depending on who it comes from is how much weight you give it. Just like you said with the financial advisor and that person's success, you're definitely going to weight that information a lot heavier than financial information coming from, Joe Blow saying, well, hey, I got a 401k, do this. Yeah. I mean, so that's situational, 100%. And
it's all situational.
It's all situational, but something like that, taking from a professional and somebody that is not a professional, you're weighted much differently.
If I get advice from somebody that
on, if you tell me to do a 401k this way or do a Roth versus a standard, right? But a financial guy tells me to do it, I'm going to say the financial guy told me to do it, not necessarily you, because their background and their information is you know what I mean? So it's more, not I want to say more believable, but it's got more weight behind it.
And that works for you. Everybody might be different on how they deal with that.
Well, for sure.
But strangers.
But everybody likes to give advice and tell people how they should live.
So Jessica says, just because I like one concept, quote, statement someone says doesn't mean I automatically stand behind every word they've said.
Agreed.
However, see, and this is where this is the part of the mind, right, that social media has erased. Okay, because before social media, I could take a quote from somebody, like it, live with it, whatever, but it didn't attach to me necessarily. Right. So now, though, I take this quote concept and it's like putting a bumper sticker on my car. It's with me now. It's in my social footprint. Right. And it doesn't matter that you may not like, right, every word or even everything the person stands for, but it's like going to their rally because now you're hooked to that wagon. People don't think that, right? Like I said, 9 years from now, when this comes up as a memory and you go, oh God, you understand what I'm saying? It's like sticking a flag on your 4x4 and rolling.
Right.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is in history. This is going to go down forever. This is going to be archived.
And that's what people don't think. I can like a quote that I overhear in a coffee shop. that may have come. I mean, let's take a look at the governors in the state of Illinois. A lot of people hitch their wagons to them, and a lot of them have spent time in prison.
Yeah, good
Right?
friends.
Right now, it's like you see what I'm saying? But now that's people. I'm going to look at you and go, do you know that person rapes monkeys? I mean, and does bad things to monkeys. And wow, right. you like that
and you're
person.
taking advice from them.
Wow, right?
Right.
So even though you may not, you just like the quote or whatever, you put it out there. Guess what happens? You now own it.
Well, now you're
at the rally.
You're associated with that individual for
You're
the
at
rest
the
of your
rally.
life, no matter
Right.
what. And if you haven't done your research, that can definitely.
Right.
I mean, that's one thing about social media and the internet and stuff is, you're following things and you got you're profiled basically. Every time you
Moo Weller, good morning.
Every time you go onto something and open up a website or something, that's tracked. I mean, so that's part of your.
Yeah. Nate says lately I find myself hearing, you should do this and this and this with your baby, and the advice is from people that had kids 30 years ago.
Yeah, people will definitely always give you advice on kids, and that's where it's one to really sort out, though, because I'll take that advice just all day long and listen to what they're saying, because you just never know. Some people can have some golden nuggets that have raised kids, regardless if it was 30 years ago or not, right?
Yep.
And you also might look at it and go,
a lot of that stuff stands tall, man.
Right. Well, 30 years ago, kids were still the same. They came out of their mom. You raise it. You know what I mean? They need certain things. Kids cry for reasons. So the advice is, hey, it works or it doesn't. It doesn't matter how long ago it was from.
So let's
technology related.
Let's chow on this for a minute. I was always told never to trust the left. They make it all up. And that's another thing, right? Why on God's green earth would I categorize somebody by an R or a D?
Yeah, I know.
I want to get to know you as a person.
Right.
I don't care who you pray to. I don't care who you vote for. I don't care. Right. I want to get to know you. Right.
Know the person, not their affiliations.
Right. And if you're a good person doing great things,
awesome.
I don't give two shits
That's
how
right.
you vote.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying?
You're doing you're voting what you think is right, and
100%.
what you think is right.
Whatever.
Right? And you should, and that's your individual.
To create segregation over the right and left in the middle.
When people start talking about that,
it's the most
makes me nuts.
ridiculous,
It's like,
amateurish shit I've ever heard.
How narrow-minded are you that
Seriously.
you're an R or a D or an I? You know what I mean?
I don't care.
That's just narrow mind thinking right there, because you can't be on one side of, you always have to look at every different angle and every different side. If you're voting one straight way, to me, it's sad. And we don't do politics on the show. So, that's one that we don't really like to touch, because
21-6 doesn't. We just don't do politics.
It's just
politics.
No, we don't.
It's a never ending. And
that's
it's
why we don't.
Opinionated. Right.
That's why we don't do politics.
Right. You're going to tune in here to get a daily dose of encouragement.
And we want to encourage you to do things and do what you think is right, not you.
We want you to think for yourself.
Yep. Think for yourself.
Shayna says, debate is a good time for me, but so many people get upset when challenged. It's never been clear to me why someone not in your inner circle can do that.
I like her statement.
But here's why. We have taken, social media has taken us to a place of I've either won or I've lost. A debate it should be a good conversation that challenges each other to make you think and stretch, right? Mm-hmm. There is a part and there's a counterpart. Nobody wanted to be part of a debate team in high school. You were a nerd. Nobody, all
the good-looking girls were in there.
Nobody wanted it, right? But now,
sorry, honey, I love you.
But now everybody wants it, and they think I have to win a debate. No, a debate is to have a conversation, challenge each other. We can go our separate ways and go. I got to think about that. Yeah. That's good, right? And
once again, because I disagree with you doesn't mean I hate you.
Right. Now, again,
but that's how everyone feels these days. If you don't believe me or agree with me, you're an asshole, and I don't want to talk to you no more. And that's where I love her statement about when people get upset if they're challenged. But it makes them think.
But what people don't know is that Drew gets his information from the algorithm that he's in. Now, listen to what I'm saying. Nobody cracks a book anymore. They Google, they go, yes. I get the information from the algorithm that I'm in. They're two different ones. I'm getting facts that support my beliefs and likes. Right. He's getting facts that support his beliefs and likes. And what happens? You're wrong. I'm wrong. You're wrong. And then it becomes a fight because you're You're challenging the facts I have. We can no longer have a good quality
That's
debate
correct.
because we're not opening the same book anymore.
Right. Well, yeah, you're not comparing apples
Right?
to apples.
And then I get mad because you're telling me Google's telling me wrong stuff. Right?
Right.
And then I'm going to send you a link. Well, I'll show you. Here's a link.
Right.
And then you're like, yeah, here's the link that disproves that.
Right.
Where I got my information.
There's an argument for everything.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that if you are focused on just doing right by people and you slip and do the wrong thing, people already know who you are, especially if they're in your network.
Yeah. So I love what Ted says. And also remember, just because someone gives you advice that worked for them in their situation doesn't mean necessarily it'll work for you.
That's
Now,
where you have to evaluate it if it fits into your situation.
And here's what I'm going to tell Nate, right? And it took me a while to figure this out. You don't know what the hell you're doing because this is your first child and never in your life have you been a parent. So for the next 30 years, you're going to fuck up a lot.
And you're going to hope that you get some advice.
Right.
Right.
So my older kids,
right.
I got 4 kids. My older kids go, you're much easier. I go, I didn't know what the hell I was doing with you.
Right. I did the best I could with the knowledge
I had you when I was 25.
Right. I was still a kid myself.
I didn't even know how to balance checkbook.
You weren't
25.
a parent prior to being a parent.
Well, I wasn't a former
right. So I sit here and I go, I don't know. Right. So Jake and Ashley, Jake's sister has some cute kids. You know them, Nate, Triss's kids, and they come over to the house all the time. And they're like, Dad, why don't you play with the kids? I go, why? They're not my kids. Right? They're cute kids, but I'm like,
do they have to be cute?
They don't. They're not related to me.
Kids aren't cute. You can't play with them.
They're not related to me. Right?
I'm just trying to figure out what cute's got to do with it.
And I'm like, listen, whatever. They're like, you don't pay much attention. I said, why do I have to? They're not my kids. I got no skin in this game. Right? Right.
But they're with your kids.
Because if they were my kids, I'd be raising them differently.
Right.
I would be doing this. They ain't my kids. So I can't step in. I'm like the neighbor at this point. You ain't gonna let your neighbor scold your kid, right? I mean, they did back when we grew up.
When we grew up, that was common. That was your parents. Please, but again, my kid.
I got beaten by neighbors before I got to my dad for being an idiot.
But again, what worked? What I thought worked for my first was Spencer and Ashley.
Right. I do it for the last.
Spencer and Ashley looking at me going, Colette and Lucy got this easy. I go, I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Right.
I said, now I got to figure it out.
And when you guys pushed me differently,
yeah,
I didn't know how to respond back then. Hey, we grow. And that's so like with Nate, with kids, that's one thing that I actually encourage advice from people that have had kids, right?
They would talk about rape monkeys. Wait, what? That's how the AIDS crisis started. Oh, well, no, check anyway. George Lucas now killed himself.
Oh, there we go.
Thanks.
All right.
This has
been a good turn.
It's a good turn, yeah.
Shana says the fact likes, quote unquote, and thread traffic can be purchased and powers that have a huge present on social. Make it a prime tool to sway opinion. Oh yeah, absolutely. Now there is a great show on Netflix called Spyware. And the last one is about AI and deep fakes. And they show deep fakes of presidents of the United States saying things that they never said. I mean, they show it.
Yeah.
Right. And you're like,
it's scary as hell.
Right. So that's where I'm saying you're taking advice from you don't know.
Right.
Who, what, where, when, how.
Well,
right.
Are you taking it? See, so you're listening to the advice, not necessarily taking it.
That's kind of true too,
right? You're listening.
You have the data now. That doesn't mean you're acting.
Right. Doesn't mean you're going to act on it. But what Kent's getting at, and it's so true, is if you look at that advice and it's got 50,000 likes or whatever, you're going to add weight to that because 50,000 people have liked it when 50,000 people really in the big picture thing ain't jack shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's, a little bit more than a population of McHenry. So does that make them smart? No. Just makes 50,000 people think that guy's comments intelligent. when we might look at that and go, well, this guy or this girl is a complete idiot.
A lot
Why
of
would you
people-
listen to that?
A lot of people follow the light instead of being like,
Right.
It's
Well,
just
yeah.
the
but
light.
that's where I'm so different, because I do question everything. Even though even the guy that has a million
That's-
followers,
that's
I
smart.
still look at it and go, yeah, but what's his end agenda? What's his end goal? What's the end game for him?
Hey,
To give you good advice or to sell you a program, right? That he
Well,
has.
you've been in the situation before to where you've been burned, and so there's lessons learned. So now when you get
I do like
information,
Steely Dan.
you know how to manage it.
Well, yeah, because
because
life has molded me. Life has my
It's
experience.
called experience,
Right. My experiences have said, hey, think about this for a second. Just don't jump. It's like the old adage: if you see someone jump off of a bridge, you're gonna follow them. Well, I might, but let me analyze why they
Yeah.
jumped off the bridge, and if it's good for me.
Listen,
Is your advice good for me? If it is, great. I might tell somebody else it works for me.
Jessica has the quote of the day. Exactly, Kent.
Oh, he paid for that
Okay.
one, Jessica. I want to know how much he paid you.
yeah,
for
thanks,
that comment.
Thanks for doing that. We'll never hear the end of
I
it.
know, right? Well, the show's over
Right.
now. Kent feels
Right.
good.
Lisa says you can do the best you can with what you know in the moment. That's why regret is so stuck for so many. They view it from years later, filled with knowledge and experience you don't have in the moment. Decision was made. I probably read that bad, but the good news is if you missed living outside the box with Lisa, check it out on our YouTube and Facebook. Some great comments of people who watch it. It's a killer show. It's a cool show. It kicked off. It was great. It's cool. And that's all. Just
If it's coming from Lisa, it's
Yeah.
something definitely
Yeah,
advice
that's
that you
cool.
guys want to heed. Lisa
Yeah.
is amazing. She is very, very, very well versed and very well understood. So if you guys got an opportunity to tune into that show, it doesn't have to be live. You can always get it.
Yeah.
After hours,
Again.
listen whenever. So tune into that. Lisa's an amazing person.
A lot of Roman, hey, thanks for jumping over on Facebook. George Lucas just killed himself a few minutes ago. We don't know that to be true.
Yeah,
But hey, if we start it, just hit hashtag 216.
was our advice is to
Yeah.
research that a
Yeah.
little bit deeper. So
Is the topic advice or opinion? While everyone is entitled to their opinions, they often lack the weight of evidence to make them valuable. On the other hand, advice is normally founded in experience and knowledge and provides useful guidance.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. And that's a great thing, Bob. But a lot of times advice is opinion because it worked for me. In my opinion, this works the best way. And it's taken as advice, right? So that's what I'm saying is we wouldn't necessarily take advice on a conversation we eavesdrop on of people we don't even know, but we are quick to like, love, and share social media opinions or advice from people we don't know and go, hell yeah, they know what they're talking about. And again, they might be,
because of the
gerbil shovers.
Because of the source, because it's
Yeah.
on a lot of people feel that because
You
it's
know,
on
is
social
it
media that it's
just me?
good.
I'm so simple on social media. The things that I share is like the picture of the log cabin next to the river. That's
I was just gonna say
I'm happier when I'm fishing. That's what I share.
I'm the typical guy that I hate on Facebook to a certain point. The only things that I generally share is all my good highlight reel.
Yeah.
I'm on vacation with the family or
Well,
out with the
everybody
grandkids.
does that.
No, I know, but you see that.
Everybody's
So
got a
like I
great
tell
life.
people, right?
Yeah.
But you look at these things and you go, oh, well, wait a minute, why am I not doing that? And some people will look at that and feel bad because you've got a better life than me. When in reality, it's you're just your perception.
It's your life. You're on your
yeah, it's
timeline.
my life. Well,
Yeah.
why do I want to do whatever? See what everyone else is doing. I'm glad that they're happy, and that's part of the reason. If you ever watch The Social Dilemma,
Yeah.
that's a great freaking show. That explains everything of how social media has come to be so great and put so much weight on people's advice through social media.
So why is that great? You have a bunch of disgruntled employees that made a show because they were let go from social media places. So why is that all of a sudden good, Scott? Have you researched these people?
No, but these. But what I
No
liked
further
about
questions,
yeah,
Your
right,
Honor.
Yeah, right. But what I liked about it was the fact that they said that
That's funny.
it's doing exactly what they intended it to do, right? And they felt bad, so they got out of it. So it's like, okay, you got to take some weight to that.
So the
Right?
advice,
Was it true, or did they get?
so you own a couple of businesses. You own a couple businesses.
Mhm.
You fire an employee. They throw up a Google review, and you go, "Hey, that's great advice. Let me work on that."
Well,
Or
something
do
you
you-
got to weed through.
Or do you go, "Little motherfucker, put the guy sucker right out there"? You know what I'm saying?
It's every
It's
situation.
just they're
different,
bitter,
right?
right?
Everyone's
But-
situation different.
But
and
we've
doesn't-
got a bunch of tech savvy people who go, "You fire me? Fuck you. Guess what I'm gonna do?
Keyboard
Net-
warriors.
hey Netflix,
Yeah.
right.
let's get a eight season. Well,
And
hey,
that-
Yeah.
right.
I'm
but-
gonna fuck you guys."
right. So, and if with that case,
And people are gonna think
watched
it's
it,
true.
I
but-
know.
I watch it and I have to evaluate their information. And does it make sense to me? Just like with advice, I have to evaluate that information. Does it make sense? Is there actually any, thing to really believe it, or is it just complete hogwash? Right? I don't know the people, right? But they did work there, and what they're saying makes sense. So I have to
Makes sense.
It makes sense, right? Doesn't mean it's right, but it makes sense. So I have to evaluate it. Same with advice.
Did
Oh,
you
that makes
research it?
sense. I did a little bit, but I didn't go as deep as I probably should because I can't.
That's what she
control it and
said.
I can't change. Yeah, right. But
Hey,
Wrong show.
yeah, wrong. Yeah,
Allegedly.
tune in later for
Allegedly.
fan. We got a new
Allegedly.
show coming.
We'll just sprinkle allegedly on it.
tuna can never
But
match.
so that's like everything else. You need to look at it, see how it fits into your life, and what
Kent,
you
it
need
went
and
all
what you're
downhill
trying to
after the
evaluate.
word raping monkeys.
It really did.
Right? Exactly.
Shayna says discernment is a superpower. Government involved censorship has created a separate reality. I must have a crazy algorithm because of my need to understand the opposing opinion. I don't have much need to be killed, which helps. Yeah, no, I'm with you, and I do the same thing. And I tell my kids to do that. I'm like, there's two sides to every coin, but then there's an edge. You got to find out where the truth lies.
That's right.
Right. And that's
you have
important.
to have to get the proper. You have to take all the information and knead it around and figure
Yeah.
out what works. Evaluate it off.
Favorite band, rock band, has got to be
Rush.
Van Halen. I love Van Halen and Van Hagar. Both.
Hot for teacher.
I just I grew up loving Van Halen on a rock band, and then Metallica's right in there too.
Yeah, I'm a Metallica fan.
Oh.
Yeah, right in there. Good stuff. Good. And favorite movie, the Star. And thank you, George Lucas. But the Star Wars, any Star Wars thing, I'm loving. But my favorite movie of all, and I'll never turn off, Tombstone. Tombstone.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, can't go wrong with that. Tombstone.
Get you all day long.
Anyway, I'm telling
Oh,
you.
Shayna,
right?
what does she say? The coolest people on the planet are those who can pivot when given new information.
Thank
Yes.
you, Shayna.
Thank you, Shay. That means you have a brain and you can think about it and change your ideas and your ways.
Let's agree to disagree.
Oh,
God, here we go.
let's bring that show back in, huh?
Here's why.
Must be nice.
Here's why. I'm a basketball coach. So when you pivot, you're turning your back to the storm, perhaps.
Or you're turning away. Yeah. So
But you don't move. Right? You stay, you have a pivot point.
you
So
step
all
on
you
one
do
foot.
is turn around. I haven't gone anywhere.
Yeah, you have.
No,
You went to the left or the right.
no, I didn't move. I just pivoted.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah, that's semantics
So,
there. You
so a
move.
revolving door goes someplace.
I
No, it
think
It
doesn't.
goes round
we're-
and round and round. It
And
stays
I
in the same
pivot.
place.
Listen,
It
I think we're
stays, but
But
Shane
it
is
stays
going
in the
with
same
this.
place.
You might stay in the same place. You're not wrong if you pivot. It depends on the game that you're looking at. But if you're already moving in a direction and you're able to pivot, now you're moving into a different direction.
You just pivot.
That's
You're
it's-
looking. Wait. If you
it
pivot
doesn't
one way, you're
say-
looking. If you're looking north and you pivot a 180 pivot, now you're looking
Because
south. So
once
your information has changed, your view has changed.
You have to
your
change
space-
direction.
You're
You're just
changed-
pivoting. You haven't moved.
okay.
Okay,
So-
coach.
so
okay,
that's
coach.
me.
So I don't know.
What's
we'll
your
agree
advice?
to disagree on that.
What's
I
your,
guess,
what's your
because-
advice on that one, coach?
So here, and I agree with Shayna. So listen, it doesn't say the coolest people that stand still and pivot. People who move forward.
He's just
If you
saying people that
when
take
you're
advice
moving,
and go, "Oh, that's
Would
right."
you-
I'm gonna.
Are you going to
move."
let me talk?
No.
Or are you just going to keep fucking talking?
I'm
over
going to
me?
talk over you. The
Been
whole
on
time.
fire. He's been on fire today.
Pay your bill.
We got it.
Um,
Hurts not so much as did it leave a mark.
Right about
Oh,
here.
balls.
Oh my God.
So I think if you're moving in a direction and you're able to pivot and move into a different direction, I'm just messing with it, man. Don't be so
this
sensitive.
guy.
Gino.
Man up.
Everybody's
Um,
fired up today. It's good. Damn George Lucas.
I know.
Damn-
It,
damn
it-
George
it all
Lucas.
started with
Thanks,
the
Romana.
George Lucas comment. I'm upset.
I see. I got him on the pivot.
I think
You
you're
see
able.
that.
I think you're able to.
I'm pivoting now. You're gonna
I'll just
smell it
let you
soon.
guys finish talking. That's good.
Oh, come on.
No, it's good.
No, come on.
I'm done.
Oh man, this guy.
If you got to move forward and you pivot, you're still moving, but just in a different direction. And it's a talent to be able to do that, especially if you're giving advice midstream of your direction.
So you change direction. That's
Correct.
different than pivoting, because I could change direction to right, left, or a pivot. Right? A pivot. You have to be. You stop. I mean, the pivot, whatever pivots, doesn't. It just moves in a circle.
Pivot part in basketball, 1 foot has to stay on the ground.
That is correct.
Right. So you are, but you're moving.
But I'm not going anywhere.
All right, Shane, and we thank you. Appreciate
Right.
that.
But
People that pivot can actually take the information they've had and actually change their direction.
Correct.
By pivoting.
Correct.
Right. Because they got information that they decided to use that they feel is an advantage to them and what they're trying to achieve.
Right.
Right.
That you nailed it on the head.
Yeah.
Nailed it on the head.
All right.
And we have a store for that.
So Ted, yeah. Hey, how are you? So Ted says, and with hacking, the person you are getting advice from that you thought you knew may not even be them. Yeah, right. With the AI, right? So trusting social media for talking
Is
right,
difficult.
is difficult. It's difficult to read too. Even more difficult to trust with advice.
So the thing with that, Ted, is when any type of information that you get, right, you have to look at the source, right, and you have to be able to evaluate it against a bunch of different criteria of what you're trying to achieve, and you can't just listen to one source, right? You need, at least for me, I want to get information from multiple areas so I can evaluate it and kind of pull it apart, right? Most people these days are taking that advice from that one source, that one individual, and going, "That's gospel. I'm going to share that."
Yeah.
But they're not evaluating it.
No.
It might be right. Right? It might be right, but it also could be a whole bunch of bullshit.
Well, that's why you got to
Right.
do your homework.
It could be a whole bunch of bullshit.
Well-
But I also might look at it and go, "Whoa, yo, that's great." But then you look at it and go, "Scott, wait a minute, dude, bro, are you really looking at this the right way?" Right? Because I might want that to be the answer because I'm
Perspective.
looking right. Well, I'm looking at that and going, "I need that to be the answer." And you're going, "Hold on, dude, let's step back
Yeah.
and rethink." And that's where I'm going to show all this out to my wife. I love you to death because that's what she does for me all the time. She goes, "Wait, why? That doesn't make sense. Did you grab more than one source of information on that one?" And she just does it to make sure I'm thinking it through 100%. I might be right, and it might be right, but she wants me to dig a little bit deeper to make sure
Right.
that
Right, but
that I
this is-
looked at the advice and heated warning.
But this
Right.
this is a tough conversation for the three of us to have because we're all curious, right? So if somebody gives us that data, we get very curious about it. We just don't act on it, right?
We do. We just act in our heads. We're not like someone something. Your head's spinning.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
So, have I shared things on social media? Absolutely. In the heat. Oh, hey, ow, I love this guy. And then I'm like, ooh, wait, this
You want to
guy.
see the feed that you send me?
Yeah. Right.
You know, hey, check this out, bro.
Right. But and it's a tough conversation for us to have because that data that comes in, because we're all entrepreneurs, is you weigh everything that comes in. Right.
You have to.
You
Because if
have
you don't,
to.
you're going to get sunk.
Yeah.
You're right. And that's why I say, yes, we've all taken advice from strangers, didn't act on it instantly, but we've all gone, let me ruminate on this. Let me research this because I overheard this.
Unless it was
Well,
to buy Bitcoin.
and the reason we're at that point is because we did the opposite.
Right.
We got advice, we acted on it, and we might have had a bad result. So now
Right.
it's like, hey, listen.
Now we know don't take that advice anymore.
Well, it's like if you get somebody's opinion, you get somebody's advice, you bank that up in the back of your file cabinet, man, in your head. Then go figure out for yourself,
Right.
if that's going to work for you or not.
Right. That's what Tony the Kid says. Tony, good morning, says advice is good opinions. It's up to us whether we use those opinions. I just appreciate the opportunity to see someone else's point of view.
What's
And
up,
that-
Tony?
and
Good
well
morning.
said.
And,
Very
and
well
again, here's a very creative mind.
Yeah, Tony's
Right.
creative, dude.
And so it's that curiosity
Yep.
that goes, well,
Right.
let me look into this.
Right.
Yep.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
what he says there is good advice, or I like his statement, and that kind of brings me back to what Shayna said a while back, as far as how people get upset when they get challenged, right, about
Yeah.
advice because, oh, what do you mean my thought process is wrong? Well, wait a minute, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe it is, but I was one of those people. I still am from time to time when I get challenged, right? I'll get upset
Mhm.
because one, I'm either not sure, right, or I feel disrespected because you're not sure. type
That's
of
right.
thing, you know what I mean? So when people get challenged, it'll make somebody sometimes insecure right?
Yeah.
So then they will fight back at you. And I don't want people to fight, but I want them to challenge me to disagree so we can discuss. But people don't do the discussion anymore. It's you challenge me, I'm pissed off, fuck you, click.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So everyone loses.
Yeah.
And that's where the advice coming in is my advice to you guys is listen to everybody. Just
I
sort
do
through it.
fish, Shayna.
She's a fish.
And I also play one on TV.
Well, that's why we can't see your left eye or your right eye.
That's fine.
Well,
See, he's on the camera. Can't see
Is
his
it?
right eye. He's hiding.
I don't know.
it's Popeye.
He's Popeye. Strong to the finish.
Agree to disagree. Classic. To pivot, you stay in the same place but see a different view.
Different direction.
Yeah, you look in a different direction.
But you
So
could
you
still
move.
be moving in the same direction. I could be walking backwards at that point.
You can't, but in pivot, well, all right. So
Right.
Nate says, I don't like the pivot. Someone who can turn on a dime seems easy to persuade.
Mm.
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 Well, that's interesting. But it's important to be able to turn on a dime too, because if you know you're going in the wrong direction and someone gives you the proper information, you should be able to bang.
Uh-oh.
It might
Sort
be easy
through
to
it.
persuade.
We
but they
want you to
also might
stream
be-
in, Shayna.
But- What's that?
Don't make me stream in.
Oh my God, please do.
Right.
Come on now. What do we got to keep saying to get
You
him to stream
won't
in?
do it. I
Yeah,
dare you.
Yeah, you won't do it.
I dare you. Double dog.
I
dare
would.
you.
That would be the happiest day of my life. Getting Shayna to come in here.
I know, man.
That would be amazing. I still don't think
She's a
she
long
exists.
time
You
listener.
might
I
be
don't
able to
think
get her
she
on living
exists.
outside the box, though.
All right, there we
Might
go.
be able
That'd
to
be
get her on
fine.
living out. The owner of this company that he currently works for doesn't like when you challenge his thinking. Can't you hire it? I tend to make people think outside the box, and it doesn't mesh with them.
So that owner, that company that you work for, you know why he doesn't like you challenging him is because you're making him think something different than he's
Now, wait a
probably
minute.
done for many years, potentially.
People who
right?
think outside the box are usually leaders. And
Right.
so, Nate, you should always challenge.
Yeah,
And if you had a leader that you were working for, he would accept that challenge.
Now, wait a minute.
he would actually be
and
happy that
and
you're doing it.
adjust his pattern of thinking. I don't necessarily agree with people can be persuaded that easy if they pivot. There's talent that goes with that as well. So that could be a two-sided coin.
Now, we're just gonna call a spade here, right? You're gonna get upset about me telling you how to raise your kid,
There goes YouTube.
right? And you right? You're gonna get upset about me telling you how to raise your kid. Why can't I get upset about you telling me how to run my business? That
You
is
absolutely can get
that
upset
is
about
my
it.
baby. You shouldn't be surprised.
Right?
right?
You can get upset. That's your how.
No,
you
well, that's
right.
that's what I'm saying here.
Right.
He's like, I'm giving this guy ideas. I'm trying to be a
So
leader.
if
I
that-
think outside the
right.
box, and he's getting
Right.
pissed.
If that,
Well, you just
You-
did. You don't like people telling you how to raise your
The
kid.
thing is well, here it goes back to the beginning. If you're a leader and you work for somebody who doesn't focus on you,
Yep.
but if you're the guy that's constantly giving this advice or thinking outside the box and not doing what the hell you were hired to do,
Well,
it becomes a different story.
different story
Right.
altogether.
Right.
See, for me, I appreciate. I mean, I don't know how Nate works, but when I appreciate that people inside my businesses that actually do, we encourage it, right?
Mhm.
Like I want you to come to me, not necessarily use the word challenge what I'm doing, but hey, this is an idea. We actually encourage our retail rock stars to come and say, hey, I was doing this and I thought about maybe this way would work better. We're all about it. Hey, you know what? Try it. Because I'm not right. I know I'm wrong 10 times a day. I make 11 decisions, 10 are probably wrong. Right? So if you've got an idea for me, why not? What's the worst that can happen? That advice, I can look at it and go, yeah, tried it before, or it doesn't make sense, or why not? Because then when you empower your employee because you actually believe in them, that's huge. Because when you
Sure.
get people that you empower, they say, run with it. That's
Yeah,
a
and then-
win-win all the way down the street.
There's
Because
a
then
tr-
I'm
there's a-
learning something.
There's
They're
a-
learning
There's
something.
a trust that goes with
And,
that.
then I sit here and go, well, this fucker don't ever want to listen to me. I tell him that I need to be here 5 minutes after the store opens. He wants me here 5 minutes before. I don't understand that shit. I try to tell him it doesn't work. And then you're like, you're fired. You're not here when you're supposed to be. I'm trying to tell you the idea is 5 after 9, not 9.
My advice is show up 10 minutes early.
But are you paying me for that 10 minutes? Then I ain't got to be there.
No, but you do need to be there when it strikes, let's say 9 o'clock. So I don't care if you show up 30 seconds before, 5 seconds.
No,
before, as
you
long
said
as when
10
the-
minutes.
That's me. If
I'm-
I'm not 10 minutes, yeah, but that's me. If I'm not 10 minutes early to an appointment,
You're
I'm
late.
late.
Right.
I hate
work
it, dude.
the same way.
My time is super.
But you
everyone's time is important.
But you can't expect everybody to have your belief.
I know I don't, because I try to manage my expectations.
If they
I
were
get
able
screwed
to
up so
clock
many
in
times.
5 before 9, then yes.
The
the
5
rule.
minutes we'd end up
That's the
paying for.
rule.
Right, then that's fine.
If you're a salary, then you better be there.
Well, your salary,
Right.
what? Yeah, right.
Yeah. Often the triggers of a challenge is how it's presented as well. Many present it
Antagonistically,
rather than with open expression or whatever. Is
looks
the
like
best.
Afghanistan.
Yeah. I don't know what that was.
Well, I mean, you
Big
know,
words
there's
for a Friday.
I know,
there's a
Lindsay, you're
need-
killing me.
there's-
It's too early to talk.
there's a knee-jerk reaction that goes.
It can be. Well, and that's the thing.
I
and
think that's
what
what he's saying.
That's no, but because Lisa's comment is huge, it's how it's presented, right? It's how you present it to them, and that is paramount for me.
Sure.
And that's where I've got to think things through, because my comments
Presentation
is
is key.
my presentation is key, because usually it comes off as matter of fact, like, "Hey, dumbass," like, really, instead of just, "Oh,
Yeah.
wow." And so I have to curb myself, right? Because I want to create that challenge, but I also don't want to demean the person to where it becomes now a fight.
See, but a great leader is a great manipulator, because I can get you to follow me thinking that it's your idea.
True statement.
Right. So I mean, if you're a
In
strong
some
leader,
respects,
if you're
yeah.
a strong leader and you want your boss to follow you, you got to be able to make him think that it was his idea, right, or her idea, right? And
These are not the droids you're looking
that's
for.
right. These are not
That's
right. You understand what I'm saying?
And it's George Lucas. You get
Right.
that one? Hey,
Right.
Is he still alive?
I mean, because I mean, Drew, you just you spent a lot of time with the chamber, and there are a lot of entrepreneurs, quote unquote, air quotes, who are great leaders, and their business is them.
Yeah,
Right.
they don't have anybody to lead.
Yeah, they've never led. They haven't had to.
But they also become legends in their own mind.
Right.
Well, like Ron Burgundy, right?
So there
Right.
are a lot of
'Cause
business
he's kind of
They were kind of a big
important.
deal.
big
kind of a
deal.
big deal. I saw that movie the other day.
But-
I busted up laughing.
but there are people out there. So I try to look at culture, right?
Yeah.
What's the culture? I get excited if I'm moving to a new shop and people have been there for 30 years. That means it's a good culture.
Mm.
If the annual turnover is 150%, I ought not go there,
Right? Yeah.
because that's not a real good
It's a
culture.
toxic environment.
But again, we have so many small business, so many small business people in the world that give advice, right? And they don't, it's like giving advice how to raise a kid. You ain't got a kid,
Right.
To Drew as well. Listen, if you're on your third marriage, don't give me marriage counseling. When I owned a coffee shop, the coffee shop failed. And I had people come to me and say, "Hey," I go, "I can't tell you how to be successful. I can tell you how to fail, though."
Mhm.
And they looked at me like, "What?" I go, "Mine failed. I can tell you what I did that caused it to fail. Up to you to take that and do differently."
Sure.
Because I don't know how
And-
to be successful.
The educate. Well, that is
Well-
success,
Well,
regardless.
you,
Right?
That is.
you do know how to be successful. You just were not successful in that venture.
No, right.
Right.
That's
but
what I'm
right,
saying.
Right. Well, the way you said that statement, though, I
Mm.
wanted to make sure we're a little bit different.
I don't
you
know. I would still say that the coffee house was still a success.
It was because he learned from it, right?
How
Did
long
you
did
learn
you
from
do
it?
About a year and a half.
You did it for about a year and a half.
Yeah.
Did you have a great time?
They had a
Did
good
you learn a lot of shit?
learned a lot.
Success.
Did you
Yeah,
drink
right.
coffee?
Well, that's what I mean. But
The business
from a
moved
financial-
on.
but how to
So
make
did
it
you.
Starbucks, I can't tell you. That.
Sure,
'Cause
right,
I
right,
didn't
right.
do that. Right. So
Right.
that's what I said. And people sometimes get bent out of shape because I speak that way. Right. They come to me looking for. And listen, I can't tell you. Right. Drew just went through something horrible,
Mm.
and everybody gave him advice through the. And what did I tell you? I go, "Listen, bro,
Fucking
don't know what
sucks.
you're going through.
Mm.
If you're looking for advice from me, you ain't going to get it. But I'll walk this mile with you,
Yep.
Right.
and I'll just be quiet. Right.
And if you need something, just let
Because
me know.
everybody else is like blah 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 blah,
Right.
and I'm like, I have never been in your shoes,
Right. That's where
I've got-
that's when you and I are so very
I
similar,
can't-
right? It's
right.
Like we want to be with you, and we're
and
compassionate.
that bothers
we're
some
empathetic with
people
you.
because I'm not going to
Yeah.
give you advice
Right.
if I don't know,
Right.
right? And that bothers a lot of people. Like, what? I'm coming to you for advice. I ain't got none.
Well, and a lot of times, like with what he's
I got
going
nothing
through,
for it.
well, and a lot of times what he's going through too is unsolicited advice. Like, just, hey, sorry to hear it, bro. That sucks.
Yeah.
Not, hey, you know what you should do?
Right.
Because when you tell someone,
Yeah.
they call it shooting on somebody. Don't shoot on people.
Well, I mean, listen, we're
Right.
talking about a death in the family, right? So the biggest thing that is like, instead of telling me 1,000 people in your life or to try to compare death stories,
Yeah.
don't do that.
Right.
That's stupid.
just be like, bro, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. It sucks. If I need
It
anything,
just
I'm here for you.
sucks. I know you're going through something.
I'm here if you need me.
Yep.
That's it.
That's
And
it.
that's, I think, and I've never been through that. So I would think that would be probably the more empowering and more accepted or wanted
Yeah.
response from people, right? Because I mean, you're going through so much. You don't want people constantly every day to remind you, dude, sorry.
Right.
It's already in your head anyway.
Well, I mean, listen,
so
when
quit
you
giving
have,
me advice that's going to just
when
piss
you
me
have
off.
like here, you
I'm hurt.
grow up, you know your parents are going to leave you sooner or later.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No, you're not
Grandparents,
supposed to leave before your parents. right?
Everyone's going to leave you at some point.
Yeah, a brother or a sister that's right next to you for your entire life, that goes.
Yeah.
It's a whole different ball game. So when people know that my brother died, they were like, "Oh, who died? Oh, my grandma died." I'm like, "Right, she was supposed to."
Yeah, that you saw a couple times.
My neighbor's brother died.
She was right. Right.
Right.
I don't know
Right.
that.
So I gave him a
No, and
casserole.
I gave him. I brought him a
Right.
cake.
I you don't if you have nothing to say, don't say
Right.
that. Just say nothing.
Right. That's
I would
what
rather-
Yeah.
That's one of the hardest days of my life is when I had to put my dog Crosby to sleep. Right, he was my buddy for 16 years. Right, and now I see posts out on Facebook, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, thoughts and prayers with you and your family because you had to put your dog down." And I always just put on there, I'm like, "This day fucking sucks," and that's all I put.
Well, and so
Right, because it's hard.
Because
And
that's exactly it.
the
Boom.
chain of events
sucks.
is you lose somebody, you know you're down, you're in a job to where you know it's a toxic space
Yeah.
to start with. I'm born entrepreneur, man.
Right.
I have
Since you were a
3-4
kid.
companies.
Right.
You have 3-4 businesses. I mean, these are the things that when you're like, okay, I'll try it again, and think that it's the definition of insanity.
Yeah.
You go
Same thing
back
over
and
and
then-
over again. With
And
the
then
same
it's
result.
like, well, I don't know, Drew. I know that you know how to make a lot of
Yeah.
money, but you're not as cool as I am because I'm a big deal.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh,
Get over
okay.
it.
And then you get it right. Then you lose somebody, and then you're told, how long does that take to get over?
Yeah, just get through it.
Here, let me hold this brick while you're treading water. You know what I mean? Let me kick you in the
Put that on
face.
your head. Let me
Here,
put
this
it
will
on
help
so
you
know.
out. Let me give you some advice. It'll make you
Funny.
stronger. Swim
So
So
with
the
a
biggest
brick.
advice that
Why
I've
did the
taken
Italian
recently,
guy say a brick and water?
right? No, that's fishing.
216 to
The
net.
fisherman. The
216
fisherman.
to
Let me tell
net does
you
not
something.
support those
Right.
comments.
I basically said I'm taking my own advice.
Yeah.
Because I know how to climb that ladder, man. And I jump ship from there, and I'm working on me.
Yeah. So here's what I hope people take away from this show is if you're a stranger, don't give advice.
Here's what I think.
Right.
This is what I hope people take away
he's
from
a
the show.
stranger to some and maybe not to others. So
Well, right. I mean, if you got a relationship
right.
and you feel moved to give advice, but that's what I'm saying. And before you hook your bandwagon to somebody on social media,
Do your research.
do your research.
Listen, the
Right.
last
So
time
that's-
there was advice coming from a stranger. This is how it's worked out.
Right.
Oh, well, it's just $500, and then you get 2 more people to do it. Right?
Right.
Thanks, stranger.
Yeah.
I'll drink the Kool-Aid, put on my robe, cut it off, and wait for the aliens to come too.
And we know they're
Now,
here now.
there's some
They are
people
here.
that if you're that person, I apologize. I don't mean to offend, but listen, I got a brain between my ears and I use it. If I'm going to get, I don't really think it's advice. I just call
Yeah.
it data.
Yeah.
I just get the
You
data
can
and I
use it whatever
utilize
you
it to my
call it
advantage.
whatever you want.
And
100%.
Shannon just says, were you able to appreciate the feeble attempts for those who express condolences awkwardly?
I'm not good with that. So
Yeah, probably. And this is what I would say. In the moment, I would, if you were ask me if I went through
Thank
that.
you.
In the moment, it's no. Maybe 6 years down the road, I may go, well, you know what? I was in a dark place, and
I just know it's
wanted to punch
awkward
people
for
in the throat.
people too. It's an
It is.
awkward situation. So I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not
Right.
angry about it. I just after a while,
People-
it's like, all right,
The problem is people want to let
I
you
wanna
know
hear
that
about your
they
grandma,
do. Yeah. Well,
you
people.
know?
The problem is people want to let you know that they do honestly care.
see, but
And it
the
does suck, but they just don't know how to do
the
it.
issue that I
right,
have
in
is
in an easy way manner because they don't realize that you're hearing that from everybody. So it's just constantly being brought up. You know, it's like something that
It's repetitive.
It's repetitive, right?
Hey,
And
listen,
so it
I've got
gets
a 9
taxing.
o'clock. I got a bolt. I got a 9 o'clock. I got to get to.
Look at you, kind of
Well,
a
hey,
big deal.
I'm big
we
in and out.
appreciate you
Wearing
guys
the
tuning
same
in
glass
today.
color as your shirt.
Go out
Yeah.
there, give everyone a daily dose of
Yep.
encouragement. We love you guys for tuning in. All of your comments,
Thanks
we
for
appreciate
commenting,
you.
folks.
Just
Yep.
go out there today. And, be the change you want to see in the world. And when you get advice, question it. Just don't run with it, people.
And we
there's a
don't-
reason. There's a reason that you have a brain. Use it.
And we can not defend nor deny the
Oh,
allegedly
George Lucas.
George Lucas.
Yeah, we have
Yeah,
no idea,
no,
but if
allegedly.
that's true,
No,
go
not
do,
doing
here,
that.
Go do your own research on
Right.
that one,
That's
people.
right. All right.
Have a great day.
Thanks
for
for the
tuning
advice,
in.
stranger.